G'day guys, kia ora. My name is Wildkard. Super Rugby Round 10 Blues versus Highlanders. Eden Park. This has to be the best performance from the Highlanders so far this year. Maybe this might be the best performance for the Highlanders under Jamie Joseph in his recent, the most recent run as the head coach. And yeah, really, really polished. The team came into this game, understood the key areas that they were going to assert dominance over the Blues in terms of the set pieces and scrummaging, and they did, and they really took that to their best abilities, the advantage of the best abilities, and I really felt that in terms of exploiting the wider spaces, the Highlanders actually did a better job than the Blues, in my opinion. The Blues were, stuck to their bread and butter, going much closer and shorter. In fact, I felt like the Blues played better when they played out of the knife of Finlay Christie than actually giving the ball to Beauden Barrett in some sense. And, this was the game looked like the Blues had it in the bag at one point. It was about 10 minutes left. The Blues were leading 40 points to 23 or something. Only for Blondie Barrett, right? Beauden Barrett's twin brother. I mean, evil twin. Blondie Barrett to throw literally the worst pass I have ever seen in the history of New Zealand rugby. Okay, let's all enjoy this moment as Blondie Barrett probably quite literally throwing away his chance at the black jersey this year, in my opinion. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. So this is a Blondie Barrett who just got the ball, and my goodness, and this led to a try from the Highlanders. Yeah, here's Blondie Barrett. I mean, let's watch that again. All right, I mean, I actually can't believe this was Beauden. Sorry, Blondie Barrett. My God. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts. I feel like that probably just throwing away his black jersey this year, especially with Richie Mo'unga coming back. He might just not be that might just be it for him. And the one thing I was really impressed by was the Highlanders, ability to assert dominance in the scrummaging. Now, when it comes to scrummaging, the interpretation of the wheeling has just been very inconsistent this year when it comes to the refereeing. So at the beginning of the season, the team that gets the wheel, the dominant wheel, just immediately gets a penalty, like in the first couple rounds. And then it transitioned to that, hey, if you want to get the wheel, you have to go forward, which, by the way, is the international standards. That's how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to go forward on both sides of the scrum before you do the wheel for you to earn the penalty. Otherwise, it's either play on or reset. So, from maybe week 3 to week 6, it was like international standards, right? And then, at week 7, I think it was, for some reason, the referee must have had a meeting, or they went to referee camp or something and sung Kumbaya all together. And suddenly, the team that was doing the wheeling was getting penalized, right? We saw a yellow card, very, very, vividly still remember Angus Garner giving out a yellow card against the Hurricanes loose set prop for wheeling the scrum, despite the Hurricanes completely disintegrated the Highlanders scrum that day. The referee actually issued a yellow card for not pushing straight, right? For angling in or boring in. And now, after that week, again, I don't know, someone probably had a talk with the referees, or I didn't think that was correct, to be honest. I didn't think that the team had clear form momentum and got a wheel and then being penalized for the wheel. I didn't think that was correct. I thought that was just taken a bit too far. And now we're back to the interpretation of the scrum in week 1, it seems. I guess it kind of makes sense. I don't mind this too much, right? As soon as the team gets the wheel, whoever gets the dominant wheel will get the benefit of the referee call and get the penalty. Now, I do prefer, right, the referee just say, hey, maybe play on or reset the scrum. I do think that if he just wheels on the spot, I do think that's a bit of a tough call, to be honest, for the opposition. But in this scrum, we're gonna have a look at it in a minute. The Blues is struggling quite a bit on the loose head side, on the on the apparently on the loose head side, according to the referee. So let's have a look at the scrum. Ethan de Groot, once again, I felt like he was angling in quite a bit, and he was not penalized. And a couple of weeks ago, he probably would have been done. And yeah, just yeah, let's watch this and let's talk about it as we looking at it, right? So Highlander scrum, Ethan de Groot gets a nice hit on, and you can see de Groot is really trying to push himself, putting down and angling in. He's already doing it. It's a bit of a crabbing, and the referee has decided that the scrum has disintegrated on this side. The structure has broken, and he's decided that it was in fact the Blues stepping around, causing the wield of the scrum, and then issued a penalty against the Blues here. So let's have a look at this one again. I feel like de Groot's clearly pulling and twisting around. In fact, you can see maybe it was a Highlanders hooker that got his head pulled out first as well. I thought this was a really tough call. Really, really tough. I didn't think that the Highlanders has moved forward enough to warrant a penalty. And both hookers had popped out at the same time, pretty much. So, yeah. And he's saying that the scrum's gone up. Walked around, right? It's indicated the scrums walked around. And then later on in the second half, de Groot is still on the field, but the tight head pro has been swapped around for the Highlanders. Again, you can see a lot of pressure on the Blues loose head here in the second half. So let's have a watch this. Now, this was actually a very, very, very confusing decision by the referee, to the point where Dalton Papali'i, after the scrum, actually asked the referee, why was that a penalty? And just watch the scrum, and I'll tell you the referee's explanation for this, which is actually a little bit bizarre. So watch the scrum first. Now this is a big hit, and I feel like the Highlanders tight head's at an angle here. He's onto the hooker already. But anyway, the squeeze comes on, and you can see the structure of the Blue scrum is really struggling. De Groot is once again going in at an angle. You could argue that the Blue scrum is a little bit destabilized, but there's no clear form momentum. The scrum is crabbing. It's going sideways, but the referee stuck his hand out. In fact, you could argue that the Highlanders actually popped their head out first here, and the referee is saying that the scrum's walked around. Now, the explanation from the referee for this scrum to Dalton Papali'i is that the Blues tight head walked around as the pressure came on. So the wheeling was not the result of Ethan de Groot pushing in at an angle, but it was the result of the Blues not able to cope with the pressure and walking around. So, Dalton Papali'i is asking here right now, and it is really confusing. I even if the Blues is walking around, like, there isn't enough forward dominance from the Highlanders to warrant a penalty there. So if you watch this scrum once again, now this one, the Highlanders do get the clear dominance, in my opinion, to get the penalty here. So let's have a look. What happens here? Again, the Blues he's lost the hit already. His back is already arching. He's completely lost the hit. As the ball comes in, yep, that is going in. In fact, this one, I actually feel like you could give it out a penalty, and the referee didn't, because the Blues loose head was clearly destabilized, and he folded it inwards as a result of and not only that he folded inwards, but the scrum actually went forward on both sides of the scrum for the Highlanders here. Right? So this one, I actually felt like should have been a penalty for the Highlanders, and the referee, like, look, he's completely just destabilized and walked in. That should have been a penalty. So Yeah, really, really inconsistent. Not just you know, not just like the decision. It's inconsistent from weeks before. It's inconsistent to the international standards, and yeah, I'm not too I'm not too sure how this referee came to these decisions. It does appear to me, based on what I saw in the Waratahs game as well today, I thought the Waratahs did not deserve some of the penalties that was given to them. So maybe, right, we'll have to watch a bit more next tomorrow to see what the actual maybe this pattern consistency. Maybe the referees got together in the referee camp and sang Kumbaya again, and this time they've decided that whichever team is getting the dominant wheel will get the benefit of the doubt for the penalty. But then again, that you're probably just going to end up giving away too many penalties, give out too many penalties from the scrum, and then you're incentivizing teams to take the scrum because how easily you are just throwing those penalties out, and we may have saw a little bit of that for the Highlanders because you're just giving away penalties as long as you get the wheel on the scrum, and the Groot is just drilling his head in at an angle for the entire game. So I'm not sure if this interpretation is correct. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts on what you saw here. So yeah, outside of that, I thought Ethan de Groot, um, yeah, there was one point where speaking of Ethan de Groot, he got bumped by by Redna, Marcel Redata, just completely bumped him, and he got like knocked over like a pinball, which was crazy because De Groot looks like one of the scariest person to be messing with in a rugby field, and he just got bumped over. It was quite fun to watch. Every time I watch New Zealand rugby, I've noted down here the speed and accuracy is just the next level. And it's really good to see that neither teams had the intentions to come out of this game to kick a bunch of penalties. So, yeah, the accuracy, the post contact, offloads, and just the clinicalness around the breakdowns and everything, just really a beauty to watch. And neither teams was, really played too much of that, up and under game as well, the kicking game. So this was a quite entertaining game to watch. I do think that the defense was for both teams was struggling a little bit at times. Just the quick ball and teams just not able to, shut down the opposition from the advantage line before the advantage line. So the rush defense is a bit of a question. I think maybe the dominant tackles are not quite as good as it needs to be there. But yeah, it's just really really entertaining rugby, and always especially when you watch some of the if you watch some of the games I've seen this week in the UK and then watch the New Zealand game, you can definitely tell the difference in speed and accuracy, and just the way that the boldness on what the players are willing to do, to take that little bit extra risk, to take that little bit of extra, that extra bit of an effort to get through a tackle and then get the offload away. Just a little bit of extra that the players are willing to do, and still and execute with and execute without making a mistake was just quite amazing to watch, in my opinion. And this was, especially for Highlanders, the best performance for the team so far under Jamie Joseph. And yeah, let's have a look at the match stats of the game. 7 tries to 6, 384 run minutes for the Blues to the 499 for the Highlanders. 8 turnovers conceded for the Blues, 15 against the Highlanders. 94 tackles made for the Blues, 28 missed tackles. 163 tackles made for the Highlanders, 25 missed tackles. 23 kicks in play for the Blues, 14 for the Highlanders. Not too much kicking game that was played, especially from the Highlanders side. 1 miss from both teams. There was 1 charge down for the Blues. 560 kick meters from the Blue. 414 for the Highlanders. That's really low for New Zealand teams, especially. And it's really good to see that team that like they didn't want to play that kick and pray style. Line out 14, perfect 100% for the Blues. 12 for the Highlanders, 2 losses. 4 scrums for the Blues, 1 loss. 7 scrums for the Highlanders, no loss. Absolute dominance. 14 penalties conceded against the Blues. 2 yellow cards. One of it was cynical. AJ Lamb playing the ball on the ground, and I think there was another. There was a high tackle. Yeah, Zhang Sullivan put a massive tackle, shoulder to the head on Tangitao. Was taken off on HIA, didn't come back in the first half. So yeah, 2 yellow cards against the Blues as well. Highlanders 10, no yellow cards. Both teams were under quite a bit of pressure, sustained pressure for very long periods in various at various points of the game. And let's have a quick recap of the game. That's a lot of tries, so just gonna quickly pummel through this without going for too long. 4 minutes in, lots of pick and goes. 4 minutes in, there was a line out that was kind of like juggled between a bunch of players, and then the Highlanders number 9 Lennox got the ball and just ran straight through the middle of the lineouts. Nobody was just expecting him. It went through for the try. 7 points to nil. 9 minutes in, a lot of pick and go. Quick plays around the breakdowns that eventually Hoskins Sotutu picked and go for the try. 7 points to nil. And then 13 minutes of the game, the Blues gets some more momentum in the front foot. Fast breakdown, flat ball. I think this was a Segner made the break eventually, and then the ball came out. The players were really good at offloading, keeping the ball on high. Eventually, there was a flat pass to the short side back to Segner, who was involved a bit earlier, and he crashed over for the try. 14 points to 7. 26 minutes into the game. Again, the Blues, they went wide. They got close. Lots of pick and go. Eventually, Sam Darry went in for the try. 19 points to 7. 32 minutes in the game. The Landers gets their try on the board. Tangitao, he ran through a nice little gap. He got smacked in the head by Zhang Sullivan. Despite getting smacked in the head, he still got the pass away, setting up a try for Talea. 19 points to 14 going to halftime. Second half start, the first 10 minutes come out, the Blues absolutely put the hammer down. They had a penalty that went for the Maul. Just a nice little roll from the Maul, went in for the try. Slater gets this one, 26 points to 14. 47 minutes in the game, the Blues went for another bread and butter line out. Lots of crash balls. Another quick ball. Another quick flat pass ball to Segner, who ran through a little, bump through a little couple soft shoulders and went in for a try. 13 points to 14. He kind of like jumped for the try line, still like 5 meters away, and did a bit of a slide into the end zone. 33 points to 14. 54 minutes into the game, the Highlanders starting to put the squeeze on with the scrum. Multiple penalties against the Blues, and then eventually the Lennox, the number 9, picked up the ball from the back of the scrum. He ran down to the shore side and looked like he was going to pass, and everybody was looking to pass. I think Finlay Christie slips, opened up a massive gap, and he ran through. 33 points to 21. 67 minutes into the game. 61 minutes into the game, the Blues were all like, it was basically in midfield, the ball, and then basically the entire Blues team was stacked on one side of the field, and then with the other side of the field with like one person. And Beauden Barrett saw this, just quickly ran to the big white space on the right hand side, called for the ball. He got the ball, ran, skipped through one of the defender, got the pass off to Forbes, who ran in back in field and just ran through a couple of defenders running to overran the defense and went in for the try. 40 points to 21. And then 67 minutes, Blondie Barrett threw the pass. Highlanders, just scooped out the ball, some good passes between the players, and eventually Tito Harris went in for the try. 40 points to 26. 70 minutes in the game, the Blues once again piling in, lots of pick and go, and eventually the Highlanders was not able to stop the forward momentum just from being like a quick ball around the rocks, and eventually Ben Aki went in for the try. 47 points to 26. 74 minutes in the game, there was a nice little break from the Highlanders. AJ Lamb, cynical, played the ball in the rock, got a yellow card. 75 minutes in the game, the Highlanders have more penalties against the Blues. They just taken a quick tap, and then they went for one side and switched back to the other side, a little bit skip pass in the midfield, and eventually went to Talea, or ran into the corner. 47 points to 33. 77 minutes, there was repeated penalties against the Blues. The shit is starting to hit the fan. The Highlanders had a penalty 5 meters short near the corner. They're taking the tap and then just crash. One pop and then another crash, and it was Vekena bumped in for the try. 47 points to 40, and then last minute of the game, maybe the Highlanders were taking the golden point. For some reason, they did so well to get inside the Blues half. They decided to do a crossfield kick. Was that right? There was a crossfield kick, and then there was the knock on from that, and that was the end of the game. I just couldn't understand why they did that. It was a bit of a head scratcher. Could have just didn't have to kick the ball away. There was no penalty advantage there. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on this game. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I need a rest. It's like 3 a.m. in the morning, and it's my throat is dying from screaming in the Waratahs game. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Cheers.